In our last class, we explored the one-step and some two-step equations. Now I'd like to solve some multi-step equations. We might be looking at a distribution or combining like terms and inverse operations. So there are many different things that we will encounter. In our first example for today, we're going to see a distribution. We see those parentheses around an expression, so we'll multiply 2 times x and 2 times -3. That was step 1, distribution. Step 2, let's add 6 to both sides and simplify. Third step, let's divide both sides by 2, and we find our solution to be x is equal to 13. Now if I put 13 back in my equation to do a check, I would have 13 minus 3, and 13 minus 3 is 10, and 2 times 10 is 20, and it checks. Another type of problem you might see that's multi-step is the combining like terms. Here I have 5x plus x will give me 6x. That's our step 1. Our step 2 will say let's subtract 2 on both sides. Third step, divide by 6. Next equals 6. Once again, if I were to take that 6 and I'd have 5 times 6 plus 6 plus 2, that would give me 30 plus 6 plus 2, which is 36 plus 2, which is equal to 38, and it checks. So not only am I solving them, but I'm also using that solution that I believe to be right, and I substitute it in to see that it works. Today I want to take this one step further. I want to talk about transformations once again. Here's a multi-step, and this time I'm going to write down what I'm doing on the right as I'm doing each step. So let's see if we can follow along with our first example. Anytime you're going to solve an equation, step 1 would be is to write your original equation. Now I notice that I've got a multi-step here because there's parentheses and there's powers, so I'm going to use my order of operations, and I'm going to first evaluate the powers. And 4 squared is 16, and I bring everything else down. I notice that I still have parentheses, so I'm going to do what's in the grouping here first by subtracting 10 from the 16. I now have 7 minus 6 plus n equals 10. I still have a little more simplifying. I'm going to now subtract the 6 from the 7, combining those like terms to get 1. My next step and final step would be to subtract 1 on both sides, and then you'll see that my solution is 9. When I simplify, I get a value of 9, and there's just one solution to this equation. So if you think back to yesterday when I said that we would be looking at one solution, no solution, and infinite solutions, here's a multi-step that comes out to just one answer. Let's now take a look at what happens when there are variables on both sides. Once again, I'm going to take it one step at a time. I have variables on the left and variables on the right. Before you start moving variables around, you want to simplify the left and the right. So I'll simplify the left first by doing the distribution. 3 times x and 3 times 4. Now I'm going to simplify the right side because I have some like terms. I'll just add 8 plus 4. Now if you look at this now, you might notice that the left side and the right side are equal, but I'm just going to keep going till the end. I now have that important step of collecting my variables on one side. Using an inverse operation, I will subtract 3x on both sides. What's going to happen here? The 3x minus 3x is 0 cancels out, and the 3x minus 3 cancels out, and I am left with an identity. 12 is equal to 12. What exactly does that mean? It means that there is all real numbers could be a solution. There are infinite solutions to this equation. I can pick 0, I can pick 10. Any value of x replaced in these two places will make a true statement. So as we're doing a multi-step and we see variables on both sides, it could be one solution, or it could be, in this case, all real numbers or infinite solutions. There is one more type for us to look at today, and that is the one where there could possibly be no solution. We'll start by looking at it step by step with the transformations. As always, when you're asked to solve a problem, you write down the original problem as you see it. Now, if you recall from the last slide, I say we want to simplify. So let's simplify the left first because there's some combining of like terms. 5n minus n is 4n. I look on the right and I see that I can do a distribution. I'm going to multiply 4 times n and 4 times 1. The next step tells me to collect those variables on one side by subtracting 4n on both sides. It will cancel out on the left and cancel out on the right, and I am left with 3 equals 4, which is not equal, so this is not true. So in a problem like this, when the two numbers that are left at the end are not equal, then there's no value for x that makes this true. So the solution to this is that there is no solution. There is no value for x that will ever make this true. Again, I've only done one of each. We'll do more during our live class. It takes a little practice, but it's not hard. I'll see you in class.